is Ryan Cam, and welcome back to the 1999 Project. And I don't think I've covered two movies in this project that are more opposite to each other than the ones I'm covering this week. One is one of the best known and most respected movies of the year, and one is from a director that is pretty well respected, but everyone seems to forget it was directed by him. So let's get into it. Starting things off with, well, guess it's time to break the first rule. Let's talk about Fight Club.
If you could fight anyone, who would you fight?
Shatner. I'd fight William Shatner.
Fight Club was directed by David Fincher. We all know who he is, and the movie starred Brad Pitt and Edward Norton. If you've clicked on this video, you know exactly what this movie is. I don't think I need to break down the plot. Just by saying Fight Club, you're either saying to yourself, oh, I know what that movie is, or he broke the first rule, Tyler Durden's going to come in and punch him. I noticed a bit of a trend with 1999 movies, well, certain ones anyway. There are a lot of these movies that deal with, I guess for lack of a better term, existentialism. I heard that Magnolia deals with similar things, and I have not seen that yet. It is coming up. However, between movies like The Matrix, Office Space, and now this, it feels like there was a lot of movies that really wanted to explore the whole, like, what are we really doing here, actually, kind of aspect to life. And that goes double for Fight Club. This is not just about Brad Pitt and Edward Norton starting up an underground fight club for dudes. There is a lot of it here, but there is more to it than that. And that's kind of why I have nothing but love and respect for this movie. Again, if you've clicked on this video, you are probably quoting the movie to yourself, the whole don't talk about Fight Club thing, and the whole we do things to impress people that we don't like, and that whole clip. I'll place it here.
Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need.
And this is one of those movies that feels, in certain ways, pretty prescient nowadays. A discussion can be had about the deeper themes of Fight Club, and there have been a lot of discussions, and there will be discussions even 25 years after this. But I think the point I'm trying to get at is that a movie about an underground fight club where dudes come and punch each other could have been something just completely banal. But David Fincher was absolutely the right person to helm this project. He injects so much into the movie that it really just is a feast for the brain, if you will. If you don't know the twist at the end, I will not spoil it here, but rewatching clips for this review, I kind of picked up on like where the movie was going a little more than I used to. And this is not me trying to say, oh, I'm smarter than the movie. I'm not trying to say that. What I am saying is that I've seen the movie a couple of times now, and knowing what's going to happen, I can say that I had a feeling I knew where the movie was headed. The twist is still pretty shocking, but overall, I think the edge is taken off a little bit because I kind of feel like, okay, that's a bit of a sign there. But I will keep this spoiler free because there is a pretty good chance if you're watching this video, you've never seen the movie. Simple answer, watch this movie if you hadn't. It is all the hype. It's getting an amazing grade. Even if you take out all of the deeper themes and ideas presented about what we're really doing here and about toxic masculinity or lack thereof, or about consumerism and about all these other things. It's still a very well-directed movie. It's a well-shot movie. David Fincher outdid himself. I mean, he always does. It's David Fincher. Brad Pitt is awesome. Edward Norton pulls an all-timer. Really, it's a fantastic movie, and it has really held up tremendously well. But now let us talk about the other film I'm going to be talking about, the diametric opposite of this movie in pretty much every form and fashion. It's from another David Lynch, the guy who directed Mulholland Drive, Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, among other things. He also directed this movie called The Straight Story.
You've got two brothers that haven't spoken in 10 years. I want to make peace. I want to sit with him, look up at the stars, like we used to do.
The Straight Story, like I said, was directed by David Lynch, the man who had directed movies like I talked about, Mulholland Drive, Eraserhead, very weird, abstract, in some ways over the top movies. The Straight Story is the complete opposite of what David Lynch would have normally directed. It is based on a true story, and it tells the story of a man named Alvin Straight, played by Richard Farnsworth. He is a man who is retired. He lives with his daughter, played by Sissy Spacek. He has carved out a nice life for himself, but he learns that he is sick and doesn't have much time left. Coinciding with this, he learns that his estranged brother played by Harry Dean Stanton, has had a stroke and is on death's door himself. He cannot drive, he being Alvin, because his eyesight is really bad. So he purchases a used lawnmower, he rigs it up to go, and he rides the lawnmower to his brother. That's the movie. You think that there's more to it than that. No, there really isn't. This movie is literally about a guy buying a tractor, rigging it up to go, and then literally riding the lawnmower to see his dying brother. That's all you're getting with The Straight Story. And by all metrics, this should have not have worked. David Lynch, like I said, directs very abstract, over the top. He doesn't direct normal movies. But he was attracted to this one because of his producer. His producer, named Mary Sweeney, they were living together at the time. She fell in love with the original story, presented it to Lynch, and Lynch in turn fell in love with it. You can tell that there is a lot of passion that is on display from David Lynch and his love for this story. It is not a perfect movie. For being 90 minutes, you feel the length more than you probably should. But I give this movie a hearty recommendation all the same. And it really comes down to a couple of things, the performances and the ending. Richard Farnsworth is awesome in this movie. In my research, I come to find out that he was diagnosed with terminal cancer and had the cancer while filming. So he was stricken with cancer, and he went through with the filming of this movie while having terminal cancer. That takes a lot of courage right there, and he really does a great job. Alvin Straight is somebody who you would probably know. I've known a couple of Alvin Straights in my life. He is very set in his ways, but he's not a jerk about his ways. He very much feels like he's got his life and he doesn't want to be disturbed with anything else. But he also knows that when he learns that his brother is dying, he wants to make things right with his brother before his brother dies. So that's his last remaining mission in life. He says to himself, I'm going to see my brother no matter what. And that determination just radiates off of this character. Farnsworth does a great job, like I mentioned, and it especially is great considering he's on screen for a large chunk of the movie by himself. He runs across other characters, including this one girl who runs away from her home. She finds out that she's pregnant. He convinces her to go back through an analogy regarding a bundle of sticks in a very nice scene. But it's mostly Farnsworth on this lawnmower driving. I know for some this is going to turn you off, and I totally understand why. For me personally, though, it really worked when it came to the ending. And I feel weird spoiling the ending of this, but it's not really an ending that's like a big, like, Infinity War level of don't say a word until you've seen it kind of ending. The ending of this movie is what you might expect. Alvin eventually travels to find his brother. The two meet up, and they just sit together for a little while, with the only thing breaking the silence being Harry Dean Stanton's character looking at the track, looking at the lawnmower, and going, Alvin, you're telling me you rode all that way just to see me? And Farnsworth's character, Alvin, he just says, I did, Lyle. And the two just look up at the stars, and the movie fades to black. It's a very touching ending, and like I said, this movie's not perfect. It is 90 minutes, and it feels like 2 hours almost, because it is so repetitive. It is this guy on this tractor for this long. It's gonna get repetitive. I suppose that was the point, but at the same time, it just feels very much like a can we get like a stop at a town or something? Surely this guy's gotta go pee or something. But that does not change the fact that the performances are strong and the ending is legitimately touching. I'm gonna give this a great rating. I don't think it's gonna make my best of the year list, but it definitely will be in the honorable mentions. For a movie like this, directed by David Lynch, you would never think, oh, this is actually going to be good, but it's actually great. Do yourself a favor and go out of your way and watch it. I'll pass it off to all of you. What did you think of any of the movies I've talked about? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.